Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And, back on the Sam Raimi train with The Gift. This was an interesting watch. Um, it was enjoyable, but very predictable, I thought. It's a mystery horror thriller, starring Kate Blanchett as a psychic, who, sees that a murder of a local woman played by Katie Holmes happens, and it's like, who did it, you know? One person is fingered for it, but he may not be the killer, and I found this to be good. It's a good movie. It may be the best of the, no, not the best, second best. Simple Plan is really good. It may be one of the best of these non-Raimi, Sam Raimi films. You know what I mean? Like the ones that are just made. This has the horror flair. There's some shots in here that are very horror. Not Sam Raimi horror, but horror nonetheless. But I think of more of a psychotic thriller or a mystery thriller type thing. She's got these psychic powers. And so, the one thing for me about this movie is I found it way too predictable. Spoilers, of course. Always for my videos. I put it in the title of the video. But from the first scene, like, before I reveal who it is, they give you hints as to who the killer is throughout the film, but then shove a big red herring in your face at every corner. Like, you know, to kind of point out, you know, to kind of throw you off. From the beginning, Keanu Reeves' character is poised as the killer. He's shown as being psychotic. He's going after Annie because she is, you know, his wife is one of her clients, and he doesn't like that because she keeps telling her to leave him, which she very much should have. Like, yeah, she should leave him. But, you know, and you have Greg Kinnear as the victim's husband. So Katie Holmes, like I said, plays Jessica, the woman who's murdered. We are shown that she is sleeping around on her husband. She's in the closet with Gary Cole. It's shown that she has some kind of, you know, relationship with Keanu Reeves' character, which is why he gets, you know, fingered as the suspect. And also, her body is on his land. So there's that. But we are, from the get-go, I figured out who it was. Especially, it's mostly because of the casting. You know, I can't blame Raimi, whoever cast it, but like, so I saw this, I looked at this, and I knew it was a mystery thriller about the killer, and I saw Greg Kinnear on here, and I'm like, because I already don't trust Greg Kinnear, alright? I've seen movies with him in it where he's not very trustworthy, like movies and TV shows, I should say. Mystery Men. He uses his alter ego Lance, the lawyer, to free a criminal. So his superhero alter ego can fight him. That's crooked. And in Friends, he steals Ross's girlfriend. It's his ex-girlfriend, but still. You know, he plays a sleazeball. So as soon as he showed up, you know, I saw him, but I give him benefit of the doubt, right? So film starts and I see him in the way he's acting, and I'm like, yeah, he did it. He did it. And there was no question in my mind throughout the entire film, especially when they start pointing it at Keanu. I'm like, oh no, this is the biggest red herring. Like, whoever wrote this was like, we gotta have a red herring. So you have Keanu playing this asshole character. It's so obviously a red herring. It's so over the top. It's so pointing big red arrows. Hey, this is your killer. This is your killer. Meanwhile, Greg Kinnear's over here. And like I said, there are points. You get moments. And then Keanu is thrusted into the foreground, right? She's at this party. And she sees that Jessica is cheating on her husband, right? And she goes out, she talks to Wayne. That's Greg Kinnear's character here. She talks to him, and then the wife comes out, and she's like, "Oh, there you are. I've been looking for you." He's like, "I've been right here." Obviously, there's something between them. Very next scene is Annie, that's Kate Blanchett's character, going home and discovering someone has broken into her house and used her tarot cards to write out Satan on her bed, which is obviously Keanu Reeves because he hates her. And then Jessica goes missing, and we get this big scene with Keanu confronting one of Annie's children. I don't remember the character name, so I used to call him Keanu, and he's like a visual threat. And Giovanni Ribisi, who's good in this movie, although his role is only set up for one thing at the end, which I'll get to. The ending to this movie is confusing. It's a head scratcher because I really don't know what to make of it. The ending is set up earlier though, so it doesn't come out of nowhere. The ending and what happens in the ending is set up earlier in the film. I'll explain when we get to it. But so Keanu, like, one of the kids, she has 3 kids. One of the youngest kid, I think it is, eats the frosting. So they need frosting for the cake. So she sends the middle child down the road to a neighbor's house to get the frosting. While she's doing this, it turns out Keanu's been watching, and he has some other guy with him. Somebody's helping him. I don't see who it is, but he pulls up and he's like, "Hey, your mama been talking to my wife?" By the way, everybody's southern accent is over the top, in part from Giovanni Ribisi. And some of you might be like, "But it is over the top." Yeah, but I'm used to his southern accent from My Name is Earl and other stuff. If anything, he's the best southern accent in this film. Because for me, it's jarring when you have someone who's Australian, like Kate Blanchett, and she has a southern accent. By the way, Greg Kinnear, there's only a few actors in here that use a southern accent. Greg Kinnear doesn't really have one, and there's still some other ones. But Keanu has one, and it's kind of like his devil's advocate accent, where he's like, you know, he's been a terrible husband to each one of his wives, that kind of one. But it's not as bad as his accent from the Bram Stoker's Dracula, Carfax Ebea. But yeah, it is a little jarring to hear these people doing that. J.K. Simmons, he can pull it off. Like I said, Giovanni Ribisi, he's okay. But some of them, like Kate Blanchett, she starts talking. I'm like, no, that's not what she sounds like. No. Why couldn't she just have a regular American accent? Sometimes when Australians or Brits use American accents, it's a little jarring because the R's, they pronounce their deep R sound. But here, she's like a southern accent, and I get it. Billy Bob Thornton wrote this movie supposedly based on his mother, who had, psychic mind reading abilities or whatever. But yeah, and but Keanu confronts this kid, and he's like, "My wife been around your mom," or whatever like that. And he gets all mad and throws the hat down. He's like, "You want to get that for me?" He grabs the hat and he grabs his arm, and he's like, "My wife been around." And then Giovanni Ribisi pulls up and he's like, "Everything okay?" "Oh no, it's fine. It's fine." "Really? Why don't you just go?" "Why don't you just go?" And they get in a confrontation, beats the thing. There is a sort of weird subplot with Giovanni Ribisi where he's like, they reveal his father abused him sexually, causing him to be all fucked up in the head, and after he freaks out and sets his dad on fire, he's sent to the mental institution, which is a plot point because it comes up later. But to me, at first, I'm like, this is so random. Why is this in this movie? It leads into the ending, but for me, I'm going through this film, and they find the body on Keanu's land, and they arrest him. But first of all, he would have been arrested anyway, because he shows up, because they go on the land with the wife's permission. He's not there, and then he shows up, and he freaks out. He sees that Annie's there, and he walks up and just straight punches her in the stomach. And it's like, okay, even if you didn't do this, your ass is still arrested for assault. You just assaulted her in front of a bunch of police officers. Assaulted a woman in front of a bunch of police officers. How fucking stupid can you be? That I'm just like, okay, no, even if you're not, we know he's innocent, but even if he didn't commit the murders, but he still belongs in jail. He's a terrible person. He didn't care about the cops were standing right there, and he just walks up and they like handcuff him after they find the body. I would have handcuffed his ass before they found the body. They found the body, and she's sort of topless. Her shirt is open. I'm like, okay, what's the point of that? Why is she her tits out? With, all fairness to Katie Holmes, gorgeous woman, but like, why? And it doesn't even really explain. I guess you could explain it later, but before this though, Annie has a vision when she's in her bed and someone is strangling her. And you can tell by the arms, I can tell by the arms, like, those are Greg Kinnear's arms. I'm like, well, if I didn't think it was Greg Kinnear before, I do now. It's very obvious. Like, she was cheating. She was... Let's face it, she was a slutbag whore who flashed herself around town like she was Sharon Stone. But she's no Sharon Stone, right? Sorry, I had to do it. But yeah, because she's with Gary Cole. They confirmed that she had an affair with Keanu. And she's like, she wants to call all her affairs off because she's getting married. So she didn't want to... And he says it on the side. He's like, she wanted to call everything off. She didn't want to do it anymore, at least till after the wedding. I'm like, wait. So she wanted to stop cheating on her fiance until they got married, and then she was going to cheat on him again. What? And like, Keanu's wife, she's like, I think she deserved to die. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Like, to die for cheating, go to jail maybe. And can you go to jail for, I don't know. Promiscuity should be illegal. I've been cheated on before. It ain't fun. Yeah. So they have a trial, he's convicted, but then she starts having visions again, and she believes that it's not him. But no one will believe her, even though she's had a psychic vision that found the body in the first place. No one will believe her for some reason. And then she sees Buddy, Giovanna Ribisi's character, by her house, and she's with Wayne, and they decide to go out because she wants to have stronger and better visions. And this is where she has the vision revealing that it was Wayne, Greg Kinnear's character, that did it. And I'm like, well, no shit, it was him. And this is where we get the flashback that he made her take her clothes off, except for her underwear, and then he like attacked her. She's like, aren't you gonna take your clothes off? And he's like, no. And he goes after her, starts to strangle her, and then she's just in the shirt, her tits are out, and he kills her, throws her in there like, okay. Because she had the argument with Keanu, she's got like his skin, like he's got her skin, because of the scratch from before, the slap, stuff like that. But like, he deserved to be in jail too. But like, yeah. So he did it, obviously, and he took her out there on purpose so she would get the vision. Obviously, he figured she was gonna figure it out at some point, so might as well get it over sooner than later. Then we get the confusing part. So there's a struggle. He's on the brink of killing her, joke that she saw in her dream, and he flashed to that, and he's hit upside the head with something, and it's Buddy. He's there, and he saves her, and they put him in the trunk together. I'm pointing this out. They together drag him to the truck, put him in, and then drive to the police station to tell the cops. But when they come out to the car to get Wayne out of the trunk, he's gone. He stayed out in the car. She goes in to tell the cops. When he comes out, he's gone. And she keeps trying to tell the police. He's like, oh, you gave him a good knock upside the head. And she's like, oh, no, it wasn't me. It was Buddy. And he's like, no, it weren't Buddy. No, I'm telling you, he was there. No, I'm telling you, it couldn't be Buddy because Buddy hung. Look, I'm sorry. I don't care if it's if it's the correct pronunciation or not. It sounds wrong. Okay? When you say he hanged himself, it sounds wrong. It's something with your ear, with the sound of it, it sounds wrong. So I'm going to keep saying hung, even if it is the wrong way to say it. It's hung for me. Hanged sounds wrong. So he hung himself in the mental institution. So she was helped out by a ghost. This was foreshadowed earlier when she was out hanging clothes on a wire and she saw a vision of her dead grandmother, played by Rosemary Harris, by the way. So that's two Spider-Man actors in this movie. And this is the second movie now that I've seen J.K. Simmons in. He was in For Love of the Game. So, setting things up. Also, anyone else think that maybe they could have used Giovanni Ribisi in the Spider-Man movies? Like, he could have been like a criminal crook, or he could have been a scorpion, for God's sake. Who knows? Yeah. So this is where it's very confusing. Because she's like, well, no, it was Buddy that hit him. Let's talk to Wayne. He goes, I did talk to Wayne. He says he can't remember. His memory is fuzzy. He hit upside the head. His memory is fuzzy. So was it divine intervention? Did his spirit come to help him? And it divine intervention, like in Frailty, where it's blocked out. They can't remember what happened, but she can because she has a divine. I don't know. But imagine from a point of view that he wasn't there. Did she do it herself? Did she find something to knock him upside the head? Because she still has the little rag thing that he gave her to put on her head to stop the bleeding. So, like, from a point of view, what really happened? Did she knock him over the head and then drag him all the way to the car? I don't know. Did she get help from a ghost? I don't know. It's a very confusing ending, and it's where it ends. She goes home with her kids. And I thought this was leading to somewhere, but it doesn't. Like, she's going through a book of pictures of her husband. I thought it was going to be revealed that it was Buddy and that the kids didn't know because of the closeness or whatever. But no, it's some other guy we never met that died a year before this movie, 1999, maybe shortly before this. I don't know. It was good. It was good. You know what? I'm gonna say when it comes to the gift, pretty good. Not bad. Not one of the best, but not bad. But now, so what are your thoughts on the gift? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Now, we get into the nitty gritty of Sam Raimi, because now the next 3 films, some films I've wanted to revisit. These are some of the 3 of the first few reviews I did on this channel, and I want to revisit them again because after rewatching the nostalgia critic reviews on these movies, there's a lot to talk about with these. So these are probably longer reviews, but it's the Spider-Man movies, especially this one. There's a lot with this that just, I don't know. And this one, I might do the Spider-Man 2.1. I don't know. I know it's not a big difference. So it doesn't matter. There's some alternate takes in there maybe, but I am itching to re-review these. So, yeah. So, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.